Kathy Diane, ready for fishing and leaving the land. Leaving the land. Fishing on the ocean on the bright blue sea. Wish with some luck some fish I see. Fish I see. Robert is a captain and proud to be on the Kathy Diane and on the sea. Robert is a captain and proud to be on the Kathy Diane on the sea. Kathy Diane on the sea. Sometimes the Catalina, miles from land, riding the waves is where I am, is where I am. Feeling free as a bird, feeling the spray over the ocean.
Hey guys, how you doing? Rob H, Rolling and Beast here. So, tutorial. I just want to go over my setup. You know, I've been getting a few questions of, you know, some people out there wanting to know what type of setup I use and rod and reel setups and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. What I, prefer to use, I use these Shimano bait runners, the 12,000D bait runners. You know, they have the bait runner feature right here in the back. You just pull that back. You could adjust the the drag set or whatnot with that of your fly line. So if you have sardine, you want it to run a little more, you can just loosen it up, let your sardine run, and it'll pull line out. You could tighten it up, if you don't want it to be pulling all your line out, your bait to pull all your line out. But when you still get hit, it'll sound, all that good stuff. When you want to go ahead and put this, in gear, say you're getting bit and all that good stuff, and you want to set it, all you gotta do is just crank it like that, and it'll set on itself, and then boom, you can hook up. If not, you could just click it into gear and boom, hook up and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is what I like to use. It's the Bait Runner 12,000 D by Shimano. I have this set up with the 65-pound braid. I got both of my reels are set up with 65-pound braid, and then what I do is I go ahead and I put my fluorocarbon leader on there. This one here, I believe it's a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. I like to do it the length of the pole, and then what I'll do is I'll tie it with a double uni knot, or some people call it barrel knot. I don't know if you can see that on there, but reason why I like to do it the length of the pole is, sometimes when I'm casting out or whatnot, I don't want my barrel knot or my uni knot to get caught in the eyelid, and then either you lose your bait or you lose your jig if it does catch. And it happens, no matter how well you tie these knots and how fine they are and all that good stuff. You could be the best knot tire in the world, and then it'll just hit that eyelid a certain way, and boom, you just watch your jig just fly away. So yeah, I like to set it about the length of the rod. That way I can just cast it out without any issues with the knot catching any of the eyelids or the guides. This one, like I mentioned, this one's set up for 20-pound fluoro. The way I fish, I like to keep everything universal. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my my setup for this fly line. So normally what I do, I use these circle hooks or Aki twists. Reason why I like to use these hooks is because I don't like to gut fish or gut hook fish as much, and these hooks seem to not gut hook any fish as much as the J hooks and stuff like that. So this one here, I believe it's the 1.0. It's the double extra heavy hook. That's on, I use that for my fly line setup. And then as far as my fly line setup, I'll show you guys a couple ways I like to do it. Like I said, there's people out there that's been doing this a while. They do it different ways. This is the way I do it, and if it helps someone out, awesome. And if someone has another technique or something they want to post on there, let me know, and I'm always willing to learn. So okay, so I'm just gonna use this jig right here as a as a sardine. Well, it's flapping around, all that good stuff, but I'm just going to use this because this, is pretty close to what we use out there as far as live bait. We stop at the bait barge, pick up, sardine or squid, whatever they have. I'm going to show you guys how I hook, my sardine to try to keep them alive as possible and, as long as possible. And, it seems to work for me, so I'm going to jump right in. Here you go. Normally what I like to do with these sardine, you want to grab the fresh one. You don't want to grab the one that's dying off, floating around, all that stuff. You want to get a good live bait. What you do is you want to put, the hook right through the top part of the nose section. You don't want to go through the mouth. You want it to go right through the nose section. Just like that. And, that's one way to hook these sardine. When you're out there, and this hook might be a little big for this size, but like I said, I like to be universal, and these hooks seem to work for me. I'm not having to carry around 50 different size jigs or size hooks and all that good stuff. I kind of keep my tackle minimum or to a minimum, just because I like to use all my equipment. I like to use them as universal setups and all that stuff. I don't need 20 poles with 20 different line sets and all that stuff. So another technique, some people use, and I rarely use this one just because they seem to fall off the hook a lot. There's usually some fins down here, right in the middle of the fish. People call it belly hooking or whatnot, but you go right in between those fins and you just barely, hook it in there like so. You get your belly hook, like that. The fins are on each side. With this one, with this setup here, or with this, hook style, I don't recommend, trying to launch the bait out there, just because it's going to rip right out. With this style here, normally what I'll do is if anything, I'll just flick it out there, undo the bell, and then I'll jiggle it, and then I'll jiggle the line. Once I get the bait facing out away from the boat, and if it seems like it's swimming away, I'll let the bell go and just let it keep going. A lot of times what people do is they'll cast their line out there, or their live bait, and then it'll shoot straight back under the boat, because it's safe under there, so they'll dart right back, and people are just sitting there pulling line. Me, what I like to do, just a little thing I learned over the years, is once it hits the water, even if it starts heading toward under the boat, hold your line. Don't let it run under the boat. Just let it keep on spinning around or whatnot. Eventually it's going to face away from the boat. When it faces away from the boat, then let your line go and it'll take off. Because it's trying to get away. It's trying to swim away. It's trying to, do whatever it needs to do. So yeah, once it faces away from the boat, let your bell go. And I want to say 9 times out of 10, it's just going to keep darting away from the boat, because, it's like, oh, I'm free, and it just keeps going. So try doing that. It gets your bait away from the boat, and you have a better chance of catching fish. The other way people like to hook as well is they'll tail hook it, like right in the back area. I want to say right behind the the exit. I'll call it the exit. Some people will just they'll hook it right in the back, right behind the exit, and they'll hook it that way, and then they'll toss it out. Same thing with this setup here. You know, you don't want to try to gun your bait out there. You know, these hook styles right here, they seem to tear pretty easy. So, you know, you want to just be kind of gentle and just lob it out there. Don't try to fling it out there as hard as you can, because you're gonna, you know, rip it out of the fish, and you know, then you're gonna have to rebait and all that stuff. Same thing with nose hooking. You know, when you nose hook your bait, you know, you don't want to try to gun it out there, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna kill the fish. You know, you want a real lively fish out there. You know, that's the one that seems to catch, you know, all the fish. The way I like to look at it is like, you know, hunting or whatnot, you know, or eating even for us, you know. If you see something that looks sick and scrawny and bony and all that stuff, chances are you're not going to want to eat it. So now if you see something that's out there that looks real fresh and real, you know, healthy and stuff like that, that's the one you're going to want to go to. And same thing for fish. You know, they do the same thing. They want to, you know, they don't want to eat the sickly, dying off, you know, bait. They want to go for the fresh, you know, healthy looking bait and stuff like that. So, you know, depending on what I'm doing too, you know, sometimes I'll long soak bait. You know, if I have, you know, about 3 or 4 people on board, you know, I'm not changing my bait out every time I reel it back in, just because, you know, I mean, my bait tank's kind of small, and you know, I want to try to keep some bait around for, you know, my guests and stuff like that. So, you know, so a lot of times I'll long soak bait. I'll put it through the nose. You know, I'll cast it out. I'll let a lot of line out, and make sure it's, you know, pretty tight. Make sure my bait, you know, or my poles dip in every now and then to make sure that my bait's still kicking and all that good stuff. And then I'll set my pole in the rod holder with the bait runner feature on, and I'll just sit there. You know, I like to have my guests enjoy their fishing trip. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll start trying to help them out. You know, a couple of people I go out with, they never fish, so, you know, I'll start trying to help them out, but I'm fishing at the same time, so it works out. But you know, a couple of people I do know that go with me, that they, you know, they know how to fish, and they're awesome fishermen. I mean, they'll go out there and work it, and, you know, I can do my thing. But you know, I like to match, I guess, my guests to what I'm doing when I'm fishing. You know, if there's someone on the boat that, you know, maybe might not fish as much or might not have that much experience, you know, I'll try to, you know, just cast the line out, let it chill out there. As long as I'm not tangling up other people's lines, I'll let it sit in the rod holder and let it do its thing, and all that good stuff. And fingers crossed I hook up, all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's my, you know, my fly lining, live sardine, little tutorial there. So hope you guys, you know, learned something from that. A lot of the old schoolers and a lot of people out there that fishing all the time, they know all this stuff. So it's mainly just to help, you know, the new people out there, the new up and coming people. Bait, I mean, I'm gonna do another tutorial, how to catch bait and stuff like that. I'll do that with the sabiki jig and all that good stuff. But for now, I just want to go over some live bait hook techniques. So yeah, so that's that for the live sardine fly lining, you know, technique or whatnot. So that's what I'll do. I'll do that, and then jigs. You know, like I said, I've been using the Colt 45. Seems to be working pretty well. That fly line technique, I'll use a hook like this. I like using the, I guess they call them what, Aki twist or Aki twist hooks or whatnot. You see that the point kind of twists in. Like I said, I like to catch and release a lot of fish. So for me, this hook seems like it gut hooks fish a lot less. I hate gut hooking fish, especially if I'm going to release them. When you gut hook a fish, it's hard to get the hook out. A lot of times, if you're sitting there yanking on it, trying to get the hook out, a lot of times you'll end up killing the fish. And, especially if they're short, you don't want to kill short fish out there. So I like using these. I don't know if they call them Snell, Snell hooks, or I guess this pack here says Aki Twist. These are 7.0s. These are the 7.0s, the owners. Model number 5169-171s. These, I use these for the Colt snipers. I take the treble hook off and I put that on there, and you guys know why. But a lot of times if your bait, if the fish are a little lower down in the water column, you could use a sliding sinker. This one's kind of small. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a sliding sinker. Has the hole there. Use up to a 1/4 ounce, whatever the current's doing. The current might be pretty strong. You want to get your bait down, say 40 or 50 feet. Use a heavier sinker, 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, whatever you need. I'll use these a lot with the fly line as well. I'll throw the sinker on, and then I'll tie my hook on, and then that way this sinker slides. And then what I'll do is I'll just throw a live bait on there, cast it out, and then let it sink down as far as I need it to go. And like I said, depending on the current, you want to adjust your hook and your sinker to what the current's doing and where you want to get into the water column. So that's the other fly line setup I like to use. Like I said, depending on how deep we're fishing or what's biting and where the fish are at, that's what I'll go to. How'd you catch that one, Daniel?
Live squid.
Live squid. Fly line?
Yep. No, I got a half ounce slider.
1/2 ounce slider with the fly line. It's hooked up onto something pretty big, so see what he gets here.
Going under.
Don't let him go by the propeller if you can.
No. You're not gonna be able to get it, Jessica.
No?
Nope.
Here, hold this. I'll trade you. Here, you want to hold this one?
Yep.
Hold this. Oh, that's a beast. Bring it around right now. Oh, right now. Bring it around this way. Oh, dude, that's a fucking beast.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Damn, this dude's a beast. Alright. I knew there was some bigger
Nice.
fish out there messing around.
Yellowtail number 3. Not like yellowtail tonight, he's running.
Yeah, that guy is.
He's hitting your line.
Let me
Reminds me of that TV show, Wicked Tuna.
Oh yeah.
Don't fall in, Alex. I'll get to the other side of the boat.
get him. He's
Wow, come on.
Get him, Alex. Get him, Uncle. You got him. He's running.
It's a big one.
Let me know if you need help. I'll jump in there.
Big one. It's coming out.
All right.
I'll get my counter after this.
This is number 3 right here.
Oh, son of a shit. Oh, man. Son of a bitch. He's as big as the other one, if not bigger. Okay, come on. It's taking 2
Where's
feet
the,
to hold that pole.
Where's the net?
It's right here, right there, right in front of me, right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not making. All right, I had to jump in here a little bit, give my uncle a little break. He's been.
And you're used to doing it right-handed.
Robert's
Yeah.
jumping in to give my nephew to give my brother's hand here, man. This thing's wearing his arm out.
This is number 3 for him, so I think this is number 3 for him. So it's there's definitely
Oh, he's
Look
running
at that.
again.
he's.
You're getting water in the boat, huh?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's.
Yellowtail number 3.
Yeah,
Where are we getting the water in the boat?
it's from the drain right there. All right, guys, that's gonna go pretty much do it, and I want to wrap up this video. First of all, I want to thank all you guys for watching, and then also too, please do me a favor and check out my website. It's reelingthenbeast.com. That's reelingthenbeast.com. Check out my website. I have some pretty cool fishing t-shirts on there, and then also too, follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link up right here somewhere, so I'll put that up there. Follow me on Instagram as well. And once again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. And yeah, I'll have some more videos coming to you shortly, so stay tuned.
We are reeling in bees off the land. On the ocean is where I am. Where I am. Sometimes with family, sometimes with friends. I hope this day will never end. Sometimes with family, sometimes with friends. I hope we'll never end. I hope we'll never end. Robert is the captain and proud to be on the Captain Diane.